welcome back to another episode of Untamed Outdoorsmen. And today we're going to be reviewing the SLX DC, Curado K, and Curado DC. Just kind of your comparison video between the three. If you're on the fence about any of these purchases, this might help you make a solid decision. We've already done a review on the SLX DC. That's actually our best video by far. And we're just kind of going to go over that same stuff again. Nothing really too new, you know, just kind of reiterate a lot of stuff. And then we also got the Curado K as a new reel that we've gotten added to the arsenal, and we have a Curado DC as well. So it's three different types of reels, and we're gonna have Pete start out with the SLX DC. There you go.
All right. So the SLX DC, as everybody knows, it's digitally controlled. So basically, for a lot of beginners, even though it is a $180 reel with the DC, but yeah, no, overall great reel. And as everybody knows, for $180, this reel is pretty good for a beginner and somebody of like our age. You know, when you're using a reel like this, since it's got the DC, it makes it really, really hard, but not impossible to bird's nest. It's made out of a really, really hard plastic, and it's overall a great build quality. For the brakes, it's got 4 settings. I usually run it around 2. And this is a high gear ratio reel, so it's the 8-2, and it's good for flipping.
Yep. And then your 4 brakes are really for what you're using in terms of line. So if you're gonna put it on like so it goes from 1 to 4. So 1 is gonna be like little to no brakes. You're literally just gonna fish it bare. Like you're still gonna hear the noise, but it's not really gonna do anything. The second one is used mainly for like fluoro and mono. That's like a little bit of brakes, but not like overwhelmingly a lot. Number 3 is going to be your braid. Doesn't really matter what pound test it is, it's just braid in general. You're going to want to use that 3. And then 4, you're not going to get a bird's nest. 4, you're going to sacrifice distance for not getting a bird's nest. That's how much brakes you're going to be using. But, alright, so definitely a really good DC reel. Great way to get into it for DC. But next, we're going to talk about the Curado K. So the Curado K is the exact same build as the Curado DC. And the only main difference is the fact that it's a black polymer. So the Curado DC is a gray polymer. This is a black / really, really dark gray. Same grips as the SLX DC, but your main difference is you're not getting that DC. You're still getting the same Shimano quality, and I believe it's actually 180, or yeah, 180. And you're getting pretty much the same thing as the Curado DC, but you're not getting the DC part. And it depends on the application. So for this example, this is going to be my new frogging reel, and you really don't need a DC for frogs. You really don't. You're going to be fishing in a lot of heavy cover a lot of the time, so you really don't need that. The main thing is just going to be the strength of the overall reel. This reel is not going to fail on you ever. It's just an incredibly reliable reel. For the line, I actually upgraded and I put the Power Pro V2, the Super Slick, the 50-pound high-vis green. You know, we're going to try something different, just see how it reacts to it, but I think it's going to handle a lot smoother compared to standard Power Pro, even though Power Pro is the best you can possibly buy. And yeah, we're going to see what happens with that, but overall, this is a great reel as well. The only real difference is you're just not getting that DC. But next, we're actually going to talk about the most expensive one we got here, the Curado DC. So basically, the Curado DC is a combination of the SLX DC and the Curado K. That's basically what it is. You're really getting the same thing as you would from the SLX DC, except it's got the polymer body. So it's going to be a lot more durable, a lot sleeker looking, a lot more stylish. And this is not the rod that I'm putting on it. This is just a test rod. It's not going to stay. My plan is to make this a chatterbait rod, and I actually got the Ducket Triad for that. So I'm pretty happy with that. That's going to come in about 2 days. We're going to get Guggen rods, but Shop Carl sucks. So yeah, so your main difference between the Curado K is just going to be the DC. So this one's a black style, and the Curado DC is a gray polymer. And sometimes you can tell, you really can't hear it here, but if you spin it like that, you can actually hear the DC winding. But a DC is great for flipping. It's great for basically all your catching, your immediate cast and reel baits. So chatterbaits, spinnerbaits, crankbaits, stuff like that. Your DC is going to do really well. it's going to be a great little addition to what you're doing. It's going to give you that extra casting distance and that little extra braking as well, so you don't have to worry about bird's nest every single time. And yeah, that's going to be like your main differences. If we had to pick one, which one would you pick?
Honestly, I'd pick the Curado K.
Really?
Yeah, it's $180, but it's right at the point where you're starting to get to very advanced / pro level reels. Even though I do like the DC, I feel like the Curado K is just a little bit more versatile. You could use it for multiple instances, like frogging, or if you wanted to, it's a high gear ratio in this instance, and you could use it for jig fishing or flipping. So I think, honestly, out of all three of those, I'd pick the Curado K.
Yeah, that's definitely an interesting point. And I mean, definitely, and this kind of goes without saying, the Curado DC is going to be the best one out of the three. That's just, you basically get a combination of the SLX DC and the Curado K. You really can't go wrong with it, and it's going to be the best one. But if I had to pick one, I would actually pick the SLX DC. And in terms of the price, it's $180, and you're still getting all the features of a Curado DC. There's really not going to be a crazy difference. You're not going to notice it. The main difference is the build quality and the materials that they use. This is a higher quality, this is just a slightly lower quality. But you're still getting the same exact DC. You're not getting any difference in terms of that. And in terms of the overall build, the SLX DC is not bad either. Like it's a slightly lower grade, it's like a really hard plastic, but it's still like the best on the market.
Yeah.
In terms of an SLX DC, and Shimano in general is one of the best brands, right, with Daiwa. You know, those are the two best reel brands on the market right now. And overall, these are probably the three best, definitely the three best reels we have in our whole arsenal. It's not even close. And we have Tatula SVs too, and the Tatula CTs. Those are great, but these are just a whole nother step above. But yeah, this is the SLX DC, Curado, and the Curado DC. So overall, these are great reels. And if you have any questions, leave them in the comments and we'll answer them. And yeah, we'll talk to you in the next one. Hope you enjoy. We will leave links in the description for these as well to Tackle Warehouse. That's the best site you're going to get them. We'll see you in the next video. Have a good one.